When you and your partner enter an argument, it's not always easy to rein it in before it turns contentious. Being good at handling conflict the right way, it's difficult. But my next guest says it's possible. Studio 5 relationship contributor Dr. Matt Townsend joining me with 6 rules to remember when conversations turn contentious. Hi, Matt.
How are you?
This is a great topic. I'm good. How are you?
Good, excellent.
I saw the cutest picture of you holding baby Bo.
Did? Oh, I love Bo.
It made me happy.
My kids
All right,
are great.
you have a metaphor for this situation.
Yeah, well, if you think about, I've got actually a million metaphors, but one of my favorite metaphors is, there's a country western. Have you ever seen like a shootout movie in country western?
Occasionally I'll flick past it on the channels.
So the minute there's going to be a shootout,
yeah,
you can they always take a picture of the street and like tumbleweeds blowing through the street.
And you hear that music.
And then everyone starts shutting the doors and they're locking up the shutters and it's getting crazy because there's going to be a shootout.
Okay.
And so, but a lot of people like run in those moments, right? And what I find with my own life is if I can stay in it, and I get paid to. So I get to sit there day in and day out and watch people fight, which is the best money ever.
Oh my gosh.
But what I find is if I can stand in that space, I might be able to stop the shootout just by distracting, by focusing on something different before we actually start shooting.
So we're not going to close the shutters or run into the
Keep
saloon.
The shops open. Keep the doors open.
Hold your ground.
Keep people walking around.
You have 6 tools that you use with your clients whenever those conversations do start to tip, which I think is a fascinating kind of fly on the wall moment for us to learn how you do it in your coaching. First, you say you've got to be clear about the goal.
Yeah, so when they're going at it, a lot of times it seems horrible, but I like to just sit back and watch. By the way, a lot of times they'll go a whole hour.
You're like, pass the popcorn.
Yeah, it's just easy money as they fight. But what I then do is eventually I'll be like, okay, you guys stop for a sec. Can we just try to figure out right now, what's our goal? Now that you've been at this for about 10 minutes, what is the goal? And so what I'm trying to do is distract them from just the shootout where any shot counts to what is the goal? Do we want to be right here or do we want peace? Or do we actually want to solve what we're talking about? Because if we want to solve it, we probably want to do it differently than you're doing it. And if you want peace, then you might not make that argument.
So these are kind of general goals.
Yeah.
Like peace in the relationship or a conclusion to the conversation.
Most of the time when it's hijacked and people are just going off, it doesn't matter. They have no goal. Their goal is survival and their goal is to take down the enemy. Okay. So all I have to do sometimes is just stop, and then we take 1 minute usually and identify what the goal is, and both of them immediately reset. Now we know going forward what we should do to talk.
Well, it anchors everything that comes out of my mouth. The way it comes out of my mouth is it bringing me back to that established goal.
That's exactly right.
Okay, smart.
Piece of cake.
Smart. Check the openness.
Yeah, it's the doors are open or the doors are closed. Here's a simple rule for everybody that's listening. If the doors are locked and closed, don't try to go through the door. Ta-da!
This is why we pay him the big bucks.
Isn't it weird? But there's so many times I'll see one of the partners is just closed.
Yeah.
And if they're closed, whatever you're saying isn't working. And if every time you say another thing, you hear another lock, then slow down and start to check their openness. Our goal is to see if they're open. If people aren't open, it doesn't matter what you're saying. That's why, like in the Bible, Jesus always taught, without the Spirit, don't teach. If there's not a spirit of openness, teaching's useless. So if there's not a spirit of openness in the relationship, if you see emotion is too high and negative, if you see understanding is too confused and trust is low, they're closed. So until we can reopen those doors, then our ultimate goal right then ought to just be getting doors open to talk.
And I would imagine you don't have to be a genius detective to figure that out. I mean, we know our partners, but even their affect, I imagine, would hold some clues.
In fact, all the truth comes from their face. So if you'll just watch their face, you'll know all you need to know, open or closed. And again, so what I do when I see it, I might point it out. John, it seems like you're a little closed to this conversation right now. I had a client just yesterday that the more we talked, the more they backed their rolling chair into the corner of the room.
Physically, they were out.
And all I had to do was watch that and say, you know what? Over the last 3 minutes, you've moved your chair from here to the corner. It's telling me this is a conversation you're trying to run away from.
It's super wise. Notice where the emotions are heading.
Emotions go up or down, right? And so if I could just give anyone one idea to focus on during the talk, watch emotion. Emotion doesn't lie. Words and people lie all day long.
Well, and hold on, that's fantastic. Emotion always moves.
Yeah, emotion always moves.
Emotion's not still.
And especially if the conversation goes longer and longer and they get more negatively emotional, then shut up, because what you're doing isn't working.
Yeah.
So if you just watch emotion, you know everything you need to know. Emovere is the Latin word for emotion, and in the word emovere is the word move. Every emotion moves us. So if I'm watching and they're getting angry and mean and they're trying to push, then their emotion's trying to push the other away. If they're sad and they're pulling back, they might be trying to draw the other person in. If they're excited and liking it, they'll lean toward and the other will come toward.
That's a great
Pay attention to emotion. That is the money of all conflict. And that's usually what we do, is we react to it instead of recognizing.
What direction is it going? Don't take things personally. This is easier said than done sometimes.
Everyone does that, and everyone wants to take it personal. But if they're hijacked and the emotions are up, I'm going to bet what they're saying isn't probably accurate. It's not necessarily what they exactly mean. And they might be using like mean, aggressive language because they don't feel like you're hearing them. So if you take it personally, then immediately I have two people that get hijacked. So instead of taking it personally, the way I do it is I just hold up what I hear them saying. So what you're saying is, because of this and this and this, you feel strongly that I don't love you and I don't want you. That's what you feel. You really feel I don't love you. Is that what you're saying? And when I hold it up, instead of me being like, of course I love you, I'm here, and they get into that fight, if I hold it up and I'm there and I'm not reacting to it, is that really what you mean? A lot of times they'll clarify. I know you love me, but I also feel like you love baseball more, or you love this more. And they'll back it down, and then all of a sudden we get more clear. If they can see that you don't react, they're more willing to be vulnerable. If they see that you react about everything they say, then they're less vulnerable to be real with you.
Because reaction is an emotion too. I mean, back to the emotion being in motion.
And all of us just want to know we're safe to have the conversation. So sometimes we offend the other to see how calm they'll be. And that's how we test.
This is
Isn't that weird?
This is fascinating. Highlight the agreements.
I believe deep down, 80% of the time there's agreement. So when I see a conflict and a fight going on, a lot of times I'll just stop it. Okay, you guys, stop for a sec. Now, John, she just said this and this and this. What do you agree? Do you agree that this happens? Oh, yeah, I totally agree. Do you agree that this happens? Totally agree. Do you agree that that happens? I'll take literally exactly what she said, and he totally agrees, but he's fighting her. And then if I let him keep going, we'll see that, and we slow it down, we have a ton of agreement. And then I'm just like, so what is the problem? And usually if we go back to it, it's the emotion. And there's always a deeper need that's not being met, and that's really what we want to look for. Do they feel lovable? Do they feel capable in your eyes? Do they belong and feel like they belong, and are they safe with you? Lovable, capable, belonging, and safe is at the root of every fight, and we just draw it right back to that. And then at the end, they kiss, they hug. It's better than cats. It's so awesome.
You're so good at this. It's so awesome to learn from you. Finally, reinforce the worth of the other.
In the end, that's a lot everyone wants to know. They're worth it. That you love me. I know, now I can see I've hurt you. I can see by me playing and going to play the video games as much, it really makes you feel like I don't love you. And then we reinforce what it is. I really do love you. I've loved you and I need to work better, and I apologize. So I use the word "and" a lot because that helps us bridge this paradox. And I'm sorry, and I need to do better. And I've noticed in our relationship, you regularly doubt that I love you. And so I wonder if sometimes the doubt of you being loved isn't just all me. Is there something we could do to help you work on you feeling more loved? And then we can get down to the real worth issues. The real worth issues are always the identity issues. Lovable, capable, belonging, and safe. I also call them the starved stuff, right? Safety, trust, appreciation, respect, validation, encouragement, dedication. Basic stuff, right? And once we get down to it, then at the end, they know I heard them, the emotions are lower. When emotion's low, you can say whatever you want. When someone feels lovable, capable, belonging, and safe, you can say whatever you want.
And that's where the progress happens.
And then when the emotion goes back up, shut it, and then go back in and try to lower the emotion.
Listen, I label this as fascinating, and I use that word intentionally, not because, I mean, it's basic, like you talked about. These are solid, sound, basic communication principles. It's really cool to watch you do what you do.
We ought to do it. Well, Mark calls me every day, so we ought to do just Mark.
Yeah, he does.
No, but isn't it neat?
Keep answering his calls. No, it's cool. You have a gift, and I'm so grateful we get to learn from you every week.
Brooklyn.
I am. And if people want more of this and more of Matt, you've got a couples workshop coming up.
This is the last one of the year, October 8th. This is where we teach you how to do this Get Real process, how to do it with your partner, how to talk through these issues. This is the last one. It's Saturday 9 to 4. Go to matttownsend.com to sign up. And because it's the last one, prices are going to go up next year. So you might want to jump on this one.
Get it.
Get it while it's hot. And you'll learn pretty much every one of these tools and how to do it real time with your partner.
I love it, Matt. You're so great. Thank you so much.
Brooke.